Mahalo for tuning in to Island Focus and joining me in conversing with Honolulu Council member Ikaika Anderson. Thank you for being here.
Aloha, mahalo for having me.
It's a beautiful location, especially for the kind of vision you have for Hawaii, I think.
Reminds me of Windward Oahu in a lot of ways, this setting. And with the hale, absolutely beautiful.
As a council member, you have a lot of responsibilities, of course, and you also have a lot of interesting experiences.
We have many responsibilities at Honolulu Hale. City Hall takes care of your most basic necessities and provides the core government services that people have come to rely on. Making sure your toilets flush, making sure your trash and your recyclables are picked up, making sure all of your city roads are paved, that your water's delivered, and that we have lifeguards and police, fire, and ambulance folks. So all of these things are provided by county government, and that's what we at Honolulu Hale do.
What in the world would ever make you run for a position where you have to take care of all those things?
Great question, Lila. I was raised by my grandparents in the old Hawaiian style where they hanai'd me when I was 2 years old. And my grandfather got elected to the State House of Representatives, my grandfather Whitney Anderson, the year I was born. My grandfather was never a public policy wonk throughout his 20 years in the legislature. But what he was from even before his time in elected office was a people person. Papa loves people, and that's really what drew him to want to serve in elective office. I grew that aloha for people the same way that he had, and that's really what drove me to a career in public service. It's been difficult, it's been challenging, but at the same time, very rewarding. I've enjoyed it.
Coming from the windward side, you have a very different perspective to offer.
Windward side is very rural, so a lot of the needs of Windward Oahu differ from other parts of Honolulu, the more urban areas. Windward folks primarily want to ensure that their rural way of life stays that way, and that we don't bring the hustle and bustle of Honolulu into Windward Oahu. And I've worked hard to try to keep it that way.
And that's probably where the conversation of vacation rentals and visitors and traffic come into play.
All of those things get talked about in Windward Oahu all the time. I get calls on all of those issues daily.
So if you had one sentence that you could say that would encourage local people to support the windward side, what would that be?
What I would tell folks is just a reminder that all of us, in order to live on an island in harmony, we need to kokua one another. And in order for all of us to succeed, we need to make sure that we kokua each other and remember that it isn't all about me or just our community, single community. It's really about the entire island. And to remember that. In Windward Oahu, for example, we have 4 highways. We have 4 tunnels to get to Honolulu, to get back from Honolulu. The folks in Leeward and Central Oahu have but 1 road in and out. And that's part of the reason why I've supported Honolulu's rail transit system, is that I believe it's Windward Oahu's turn to kokua those folks in Central and Leeward to provide them with the mass transit needs that they require to be able to live in harmony.
It must be very interesting because you have very distinct communities. There's
We do.
Waimanalo, there's Enchanted Lakes, and then Kailua and Kaneohe. How do they integrate, I guess, or what is a common feeling that you get from moving in each of those communities?
Well, first and foremost, again, folks in Windward Oahu want to make sure that our lifestyle remains rural and that we do not bring the hustle and bustle of downtown Honolulu and urban Honolulu into Windward Oahu. And we've really tried hard to keep it that way.
You might have to block the tunnel, you know.
Well, those folks who have suggested that, I remind them again, we all need to live on this island in harmony. And just as we want to be able to go into Honolulu, to be able to go to Ala Moana Center, to be able to go to Pearl Ridge and get what we need, at the same time, for those folks who live in Honolulu, who want to come to Windward, to enjoy our beaches, to enjoy our mountain trails, we need to welcome them as well. So in order to live in harmony, we have to remember it's all about kako, we inclusive.
And that's a wonderful moment to pause right now in our conversation. And thank you very much for sharing your mana'o with us.
Thank you very much.
We've been chatting with Council Member Ikaika Anderson here at Keiki O Ka ʻāina Family Learning Center.